Hello, hello, and welcome to Saturday Soundbites. I'm your host, Veronica Sofer, and I am here with you for another fantastic episode where we're going to talk all things visibility strategy. Here at Saturday Soundbites, we talk about marketing, advertising, public relations, all of those tips and strategies that are going to help you grow your business. And today I have a phenomenal guest for you. We haven't talked a lot about video lately, and I know video is a huge part of some of your social media campaigns. And so I invited Chloe Tascoff to join us. And Chloe is phenomenal. She's got a phenomenal origin story. She broke into the entrepreneur space, but she's also got some great tips that are going to apply to everyone. So no matter what your service line is, no matter what your product is, I know some of you have multi-level marketing businesses, some of you have brick and mortar businesses. Chloe's got some tips that are really going to help you incorporate video and grow your visibility strategy. And that's what we're all here to learn. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her on stage. But before I do that, let me make sure if you are watching on Facebook, you give us some comments so we can engage with you. And if you're listening on our podcast, hit subscribe so you don't miss our episode. So let's bring Chloe on the stage. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Veronica. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Absolutely. I am so excited to have you. All right. So, Chloe, tell us a little bit about yourself, about video, how you got into this, because your story's fascinating. I just love it.
So I think that my story is something that a lot of, at least women, can relate to. I was a teacher for 4 years, and I ended up having a baby. But since I was only a teacher for 4 years, I didn't have enough sick days to cover my maternity leave. So they ended up docking my pay. So I think it was from like October to July October is when I got back from maternity leave. And I was only making $750 per month.
Wow. Wow.
Per month. That's not like bi-weekly. That was what I was getting per month. And there was another teacher. He was about to retire. He had like 400 sick days. They wouldn't let him give any to me. It was just like I couldn't have another baby. I'm like, can I ever have another baby without asking my parents for money to support us? And so that was when I felt like I was done, just along with some other things.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a site called Teachers Pay Teachers where teachers, they upload their own curriculum, like in PDF format. They make it themselves and then they sell it. So I started doing that. And then I had another friend who asked if I would just try to make a video of her resources. So I did, and it was terrible. But they kind of like got me into creating product videos. So if you think about like a hand model, like an overhead view of a hand model, like filling out teaching resources or coloring or showing how to use teaching resources, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that no one was really doing in this space. And keep in mind, these are like 6 and 7 figure entrepreneur, like teachers who sell stuff. And no one was really doing it yet. So it just like exploded once people started talking about what I was doing. So now it's turned into, a multiple 6-figure business. And I'm in the process of hiring people to help me because I can't do it on my own. And like we kind of talked about before this, it's really hard to balance. I have another little one at this point, and I'm done kind of trading time for money at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
Right.
sense.
Right.
So yeah, I'm trying to kind of step into a CEO role at this point, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So I've really been digging into video and how it helps, and I've also been utilizing video not only of products but of myself and other people, like my face. So
Yeah, I love that. And so when you realized there wasn't video in this space of teachers helping teachers, and it just blew my mind when you told me that there's a whole space where teachers are making 6 figures selling curriculum. First of all, I had no idea, and I'm in the education space myself, and I didn't know that existed. One. And then two, how did you tap into that? And was it word of mouth? So you did a video for someone, it went well. Did they sell their product well? Like how'd that work for you?
It started with word of mouth, and actually I tried to get out of it several times because I wanted to work on my own curriculum, and then people just kind of kept pulling me back in. Like I would get phone calls from these, seven-figure entrepreneurs saying, no, I want you to do these videos for me. So I kind of just kept getting pulled back in. And so it was word of mouth. And there were some things I did that I think I hope that most people would be willing to do, but I think some people aren't willing to do, which is I reached out to people like aiming to get, 10 no's per day, like people saying no to me, just to kind of get, reach out to people and put my name out there.
Mhm, mhm,
Uh, and what I did was I created some videos of products for some well-known teachers pay teachers sellers, and I sent it to them, and then they like loved them, and so then they started, all over Facebook telling people about it and everything like that. I eventually made a course on how to do it so that other people could do it themselves. Or, I mean, at this point, there's tons of people now offering the service as well after taking my course, which is totally fine.
yeah,
But yeah, I would say probably word of mouth and just kind of doing things that were like out of the box a little bit
mhm, mhm.
in the way
Yeah.
I reached out to people.
Yeah. And, it's interesting you say that because I think some teachers, they go straight from a traditional matriculation. So they graduate from high school, they go to college, and then they go right back into the same system they came from. So oftentimes they don't get exposed to business. Maybe they never worked retail or they never worked in the corporate space. Some have, and that's really helpful, especially in the education space. But then it's like they've got this great product and they don't know how to sell it, much less see how to think outside the box, like you said.
And that is a huge, I wouldn't say like issue, but it's a huge obstacle that my client base faces because, I mean, even me, I still am struggling with money mindset because I'm so used to like being on the floor of my car searching for change to buy a gas station coffee.
Right, right.
So it's like they're in this teacher mindset, this employee mindset. And there's actually one of my favorite people that I follow. His name is James Wedmore, and he talks about this all the time about how you go to school and to college, and really, unless you're a business major, your mind is not trained to think like an entrepreneur. Like
That's
your mind,
right.
it's built and wired to keep you safe, and that's not like the best way to succeed as an entrepreneur. You have to take risks and, think differently than everybody else.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. That's so true, and I know that's been, true for a lot of folks who've gone into traditional professions. I mean, I've had attorneys say the same thing. I was trained, I went to law school, my goal was to get hired by a great firm, and then I followed rank, and the idea
Yep.
of going out on my own was just too much. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about video strategy. So for someone who is either service-based or product-based, is there a distinction between how you approach videos when you're working with the client?
So yes, and it depends kind of what your aim is with the video. If you're thinking more social media, even if you're product based, in my opinion, you want to get your face in front of people and build that know, trust, and like factor.
Mhm.
I personally, I mean, I'm sure a lot of us can think about someone who maybe you follow on Instagram or Facebook, and they get on stories and they just talk to you and you feel like you're their friend, and you trust them. But if you are product based, I do recommend still taking video of your product because, I mean, I can't think of a platform right now that isn't pushing video, including Pinterest,
Mhm.
which is where a lot of people buy stuff and get ideas. I mean, they're pushing those idea pins that are videos, video pins. Instagram wants you to do reels all day long. They show actually in your feed, just the normal posts, they're now prioritizing videos in the Instagram feed.
Got it.
Facebook ads, they definitely say that, video converts pretty well with Facebook ads. And if you kind of just look at video in general, like video statistics, it's the highest converting form of media online.
Interesting. So if you don't have video in your visibility strategy, because some of us don't, what do we need to do right now? Because it sounds like based on the algorithms and the research and the data that you're seeing, video really needs to be a part of how you are sharing, marketing your business, sharing your story, sharing your brand.
Definitely. It really depends on kind of where your clients or your customers are. So if, they're really on Instagram or Facebook, taking the first step and just doing a Facebook Live. Or if you, just for example, maybe you sell on Etsy and you're selling some sort of product, and just take a quick video of it and talk. Just, just go on Facebook Live. You don't have to show your face.
Mm-hmm.
Just show it in your hand and say, hey, this is, what I'm selling, and here's what's special about it, etc. The thing about, like, if you're a coach or maybe like a consultant, or even we talked about how there's people who are lawyers who are watching, just getting on and showing your face is going to help you significantly, because then people are going to feel more, they're going to feel like they can trust you more. 100%. And then they know who they are buying from.
Right.
Not just some like logo or a picture or something. Like, they can really have that human interaction with you.
Yeah. And do you feel like product videos they look the same? Are you seeing any trends, or is there anything that product videos need to do differently? Because I know we've got a couple of folks who are very product based. They're either MLMs or they're candle makers or essential oil, distributors. What do product based people need to do differently to separate themselves?
I would say making them high quality. So while I do suggest that you just do it and just kind of get used to doing it, and even just taking, like, little videos of what you're selling, which, by the way, Etsy and Amazon wants you to post videos now as well.
Okay. Didn't know
Yes,
that.
yes, they are. They're pushing it too. But making it high quality, I don't know if you can see, no, my computer, my setup's back here. What I do is I have a white table and I put like a white poster board down. And then obviously, depending on what you're selling, like for my teaching resources, maybe I put some crayons around and like scissors, and then I use a phone mount, and I put it through a ring light, and then I film with my phone. Now, if you're not selling like PDFs or teaching resources, you could just use, anything like a wooden table, a white table, whatever you want to use, and show it off under your camera. Now, the thing that is going to make it look more high quality is super simple. And maybe I'll have to send this to you.
Yeah, we can include it in the show notes.
Yes, because it, just so people can remember. It's a free phone app called InShot. It's one word. And if you just adjust the colors, it makes the video look bright and high quality, and like it was shot by a photographer or videographer, so that the colors aren't so dull. Although I do recommend using natural light when you can. But just making sure that your video really is high quality enough to where, the colors aren't distracting people, like if it's too dark or something like that. So, I mean, I could go so in depth about that, but that's how I would recommend at least getting started with product-based video.
Yeah. And then what about, do you need to worry about, um, your background? Is there consistency that you need to be thinking about when we talk about professional videos? I know oftentimes people talk about green screens. How technical do people need to get? You're good. You're
Sorry,
good.
I knew he was going to, buddy. Shh. Hush. So when I do product-based video, I make sure that the colors match. I'm gonna grab.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
All right.
He wants to join. He's got something to say.
Yes, this is Buddy. So for example, when I do videos for teachers, I just kind of make sure that the background matches their brand. So like my
Okay.
brand is Lucky Clover, so it's green, like green papers and pencils and stuff. Now if it's themed, I'll do like Halloween scrapbook paper in the background, or whatever the theme is.
Sure.
Now, if you're taking photos of yourself or video of yourself, I think that just a non-distracting background, or one that resonates with your customers or clients. So maybe if you're a coach or a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher, having a bookshelf with books in the background, like
Hmm.
that's a good way to go. You
Hmm.
can always do a green screen. Right now is not the best example from my point of view because my husband is painting our office, so I'm like in the dining room.
Yeah.
But definitely, I don't think you really need to keep it consistent, just as
Okay,
long as
good.
the background isn't distracting. Like yours is
Mhm.
really good, focuses on you. There's not really anything. So
Mhm. Yeah, those are good tips. How long do videos need to be, and for what format? Because you mentioned Pinterest, and so I'm curious about what your thoughts are on videos and how long they need to be for what format.
So Pinterest recommends 5 to 16 seconds. Because one thing
Wow.
with Pinterest, you got to think about the platforms. Uh, what you're doing on Pinterest is you're trying to stop the scroll and get them to click to your website. So it's just got to grab their attention and go.
I
Now,
love that. I'm gonna write that down. Stop the scroll. That's
yeah,
good.
that's what you want on Pinterest, and that's kind of what you want with any sort of shorter video, even like Instagram Reels, which I think can only go past 30, only go up to 30 seconds, I think.
Mhm.
I'll
Okay.
have to double check that. But like on my clients, they can upload a 2-minute video to Teachers Pay Teachers that they can put on their product listing. And same with if you sell on Amazon, for example. I don't know what the time limit is, but you can post a longer video, and those longer videos on your product descriptions or maybe your websites, those aren't meant to stop the scroll. Those are meant to go more in depth, maybe have some voiceovers, lots of text overlays, because they're already looking at your product.
Mhm.
On Pinterest, they're not. They're just searching and scrolling.
Right, right.
But once they're at your product or on your website, then you got them, and you can
Mhm.
kind of like sell it more, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes perfect sense, and I love the distinction. Let me ask you a technical question. Are videos how are videos playing or prioritized on LinkedIn? Because we also have a lot of professionals that tune into the podcast and or watch our Facebook show. Is LinkedIn a different format, or is that more like a Facebook, or how do you categorize it? LinkedIn.
So LinkedIn, and I haven't spent like much time on LinkedIn, but I know, the basic premise of it. I would say I would compare it to Facebook,
Hmm.
because it's kind of like a Facebook feed,
Hmm.
and
Right.
it's more professional. Um,
Hmm.
so my lighting kind of got weird.
No, you're
But
good.
um, yeah, I would probably just compare it to Facebook. I mean,
Mhm.
you could just repurpose your Facebook videos. If you do a Facebook Live, I think you can download those, or maybe
Mhm,
Instagram Live. Yeah, and then you can
mhm.
just repurpose that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I took down a few notes too, and you said if you're not doing video, you need to be. And so tell us a little bit more about what that means. If someone's new to video, maybe they aren't comfortable being on screen, but you've given us some great tips on how you don't have to be on screen. What are first steps other than just doing a live?
You definitely do not have to be on screen, and you don't have to do a live. That takes practice. I mean, even the way we're conversing right now, like I wouldn't have been able to do that last year,
Hmm.
in the same way, just because, we're being broadcast to people and they can see me. But I would suggest, like you said, you can take videos of like your hands if you're product-based business or anything like that. But another thing you can do on PC and Mac is screen record. Like if you just want to talk about something, or maybe you want to talk about a blog post that you just wrote, or you want to talk about your website or something, you can screen record your website with a voiceover and just kind of talk about it. You don't have to be on the video
That's a
or
great idea.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's a
and
really
so
great
it is
idea.
a video. So people are watching your video and watching you go through the website or the blog post or your product listing, and they can only hear your voice.
Hmm.
Now, if you're familiar with video editing, you don't even have to do a voiceover. You could just do like text overlay, but you'd have to know how to do that um,
Yeah.
on your computer. But that's if you don't want to talk at all, even. I
Yeah.
think getting used to it, like really just getting, just practicing.
Right.
If you want to start, don't have your face in it. If you don't want to, you can by all means. And on that note, when we are talking about just kind of getting on Instagram stories or Facebook Live, I think especially the women here tend to put it off because we don't always have makeup on, or
Right.
or a hair brushed, or whatever. Like the thing about it, and I've noticed this about the people I watch, like nobody cares. That's
Yeah.
people just want to hear how you can help them, and they like you and they want to see you. They don't care if you don't have makeup on.
Yeah. No, you're
Honestly,
absolutely true. Authenticity is key, especially when people are looking for value. And if you're bringing value and you're authentic, people are like, "Oh, great, her hair was done," or "Oh no, her hair wasn't done." No one is judging you.
yes, literally no one cares. And let me tell you about authenticity here. I was doing a course launch 2 weeks ago, and I was doing an Instagram live, and I had my son. He's almost 4 months old, and he was just kind of on my lap, and he just like, as I was doing it, just like threw up everywhere, everywhere. And I just stopped because it was just all over my hands. And
Oh
but
my
people
goodness.
liked it because they could relate to that, even though I kind of like ruined my life, but
Yeah.
it was real life, and that's what they were seeing. So
Yeah. Well, and it's funny you say that because in your mind, you had an expectation, you had a plan, you had your talking points, you were ready to go. And when he ruined your life, he probably made it so much better because people probably went back, and that's so endearing because we've all had that kid do that to us. We're burping them, and all of a sudden, it's yeah, no, I've been there.
oh yeah, and people remember it too, and I actually kind of like repurposed the video and made some like funny Instagram reels with it,
Oh,
since
that's brilliant.
yeah, they thought it was funny. I just kind of edited that part out,
Yeah.
or that part into it, the rest of it out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
that's actually another thing is repurposing that.
mhm.
I mean, you can repurpose videos everywhere.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. People are not doing enough of that. I'm seeing more and more of that, and I'm like, oh, good, someone's repurposing it, and it's getting more leveraging the content, especially when it's got rich value. Because if it's already got value, you may not have seen it on Instagram, but you may catch it on Pinterest or you may catch it on Facebook, and so that's a really great way to just reconnect with folks.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I love that. So, Chloe, how can people work with you? You talked about a course, you've talked about supporting clients. What does that look like when, these are all great tips, but for some people, the idea of even trying to do that on a white poster board is just too much. They don't have time, they don't have bandwidth. How can they get help from you?
So we do offer services where we do it for you. And I have several packages. I have not yet had an Etsy or like MLM client or anything like that, but I have done children's books. And I mean, I could easily adapt everything there. I do have a course. It's mainly for TPT sellers, but I am actually working on something for different product-based businesses to I kind of have it all set up, but I need to put the finishing touches on it. So if you did want to do it yourself, it's really not too hard once you get the hang of it. Plus, I have figured out what not to do for you, and
Yeah.
then put everything together that actually works. So you're not, going through everything. It took me like a year to get it how it looks now. The
Mhm.
videos, I'm saying. Um, and yes, so that's kind of how to work with me on the video aspect of everything. I am a little bit pivoting into like helping other service providers like scale because I was able to do that pretty quickly. But yeah, and I think I gave you my website to put on the.
Yep, your website's right there on the screen for anyone, and it'll definitely be in the show notes for those people listening on the podcast. And so you're taking clients, you're open to having people reach out to you?
Yes, I'm actually in the process of like building a bigger team too, and
Great.
so that we can accommodate the people who want videos.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Chloe. This has been fantastic. They're great, great tips. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
Absolutely. Great, great. All right, guys. There's her website, hello.chloetascoff.com. Make sure you reach out to her, whether you're in the teacher to teacher space, service provider, professional, anything else you need. You definitely want to make sure that you tap into her resources and her courses. So, with that, I would like to sign off and thank everyone for tuning in to Saturday Soundbites. If you are listening on the podcast, be sure to hit subscribe. We want to make sure you don't miss any episodes when they drop. And if you're watching on Facebook and catching the replay, hashtag replay, so that if you have any questions, Chloe and I can go back and answer those for you. So with that, I am sending you lots of positive energy and light. Until next time.